So I have a problem. It's rapidly heating up here in Dallas, Texas, and I want to get the jet ski ready for the summertime. However, the problem is I don't really want to pay someone else to do it, and I decided to challenge myself. Can we buy the necessary tools, complete an annual jet ski inspection, and get out on the water for cheaper than taking it to someone else? Well, today we're going to find out. My name's Kane, Bernie's not here, but this is Bernie Rubber's Garage. Welcome. So here's the kit I've assembled, but first off, what's our target? Last year we took the jet ski in, and it cost before tax $274.18. So that's our target to beat today. So what do we have? First off, we have a manual fluid extractor. We're going to pull the oil out with that and put in some new oil. Oil filter, new spark plugs, and in order to run the jet ski out of the water, we have this flush kit. All our instructions are going to come from the owner's manual, and that's the only document I'm using today. I've never done this before, but let's see if we can get it done. The first step, as always, step 1, donuts. So now step 1 complete. Step number 2, we're going to warm up the engine, get the oil nice and warm so that we can vacuum it out. To do that, we're going to pull the jet ski out of the garage, connect the flush kit to get some water going through the engine, turn it on, and warm it up. To get the jet ski running, we've got the hose ready. We're going to use our flush kit. This is going to connect to the jet ski side. We're going to put our hose in here, and that's going to start running water through. Our connection is going to be on the front, right under this yellow cap. We've got the hose connected, and we can see we've got water starting to flow through the engine. It's been running for a few minutes. Let's put it back in the garage. We're going to start with the engine oil first, now that we've got a warm engine. The engine sits under the cushions down in here. This is a supercharged engine, and we're going to drain the engine oil through the dipstick tube using that vacuum extractor system. The Kawasaki Ultra 250X comes with a 1498cc supercharged inline 4 engine. We have 4 valves per cylinder, and this engine makes 250 horsepower. To get started with the oil extraction, we've got our oil filler cap and our drain stick tube. This is where we're going to suck the oil from. So with our vacuum tube free of oil, we've got as much as we can get out. We're going to remove that and then change the oil filter, which is below these hoses on the side. Okay, I'm not even gonna lie, that took about an hour. I had a lot of difficulty. I started off with the smaller oil filter wrench and ended up having to get the big boy out to try and get that off. Whoever put it on definitely did it up too tight. You can even see there's some damage just around from where the oil filter strap held on to. But we got it off. So persistence is key, just keep trying to get it off and you'll be able to get it done. Now I do have a Kawasaki filter, however K&N one has a nut head on the top. So I'm going to put this one on just in case I have the same issues next year, then should make it easier to get off. Okay, now the oil. The book says it takes 4.2 quarts of oil, so we'll put in approximately that much and check on the dipstick. And this is what happens when you're not being careful and you overfill your brand new oil. So we're gonna have to drain some oil out and then we'll check it again. Okay, spark plugs. Out of the manual we have the NGK PMR9B, and they should be gapped to about 0.6 to 0.7 millimeters or 0.024 to 0.028 inches. So I have a feeler gauge 0.024 to 0.026, and we're going to just make sure that all these spark plugs are gapped correctly. To gap these spark plugs, we're going to use this feeler gauge, put it in between the electrode and the top of the spark plug, and you just want to make sure there's just a little bit of resistance. Okay, so now that the engine oil filter and spark plugs have been changed, that's the main component of what we're doing today. However, we're going to look at the manual and see what we need to inspect on a yearly basis. In this jet ski's case, everything with an asterisk needs to be done on a yearly basis. Things such as adjusting the throttle cable, inspecting the engine bolts, the supercharger belt was another one, and some other components. So that's what we're going to do now. We'll just give a general check over of all of these items. So all we did with our throttle adjustment is move this lock nut and then just thread the body of the cable through. And that changes the length of the cable, which tightens up your throttle adjustment. And here we are at the throttle. So before, when I moved this cable, we had about 5 to 8 millimeters of travel before engagement. Now you can see there we've got about 2 millimeters before the actual throttle cable gets pulled through. Okay, we're complete. We checked the supercharger belt, oil level, fuel valve, bilge pump. We checked the steering system, even the forward and reverse shroud system, and everything checks out. So this jet ski is ready to go. Now the question is, did we do it cheaper than if I had taken it into a marine shop? Well, let's do some calculations. So the number to beat from the previous year's invoice, $274.18. Let's see how we did today. So the spark plugs were $14.80. We got them off of Amazon. Oil itself, $29.99. The oil filter, $14.99. Now that was all that was required for our maintenance wear items. How about those tools? So I had to buy the oil extractor vacuum as well as that flush kit. And both of those items weren't cheap. So the flush kit is going to be specific to your jet ski. This one here cost $64.50. And the oil extractor or fluid extractor came to $83.50. Those were the only specialty tools required. Everything else was common hand tools. So the total came to $207.78. So we did save money. And now that we've got those tools, we don't need to buy them for next year. So it's going to be even cheaper again. That's one of the great things I like about doing it yourself. You are going to save money. So how long did that take me? Well, it's 3 p.m. now. I started around noon. So there's 3 hours. Now remember, it took me about an hour alone just for that oil filter removal. Minus some film time, and it's going to be maybe an hour, hour and a half is probably going to be realistic. How much is your time worth? Yes, we saved almost $70, but if your time is worth more than $70 an hour or $70 for the hour and a half, then maybe it's just easier to take it to someone. The only thing I have left to do is to run the engine and check for any leaks. I can do that off camera, so that's all we're going to see for today. But thank you so much for watching. Comment down below if I missed anything or if you would do something different. This was my first time working on the jet ski, so maybe I messed something up, and I would appreciate it if you let me know down below. Once again, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.